Hey subscribers, welcome to a review of last week's battle, first battle of Season 6. I'm right into it. I haven't done any editing yet, but I'm pretty excited about some of the changes I'm going to make this season. Anyway, I've got the deployment on the board at this stage. I'll just give you a quick look at what happened last week. So, at this stage I have done the introduction. I have had this necromancer type character summon and drag up all those zombies there to march on this Imperial Guard mining operation, I suppose you could call it. We've got this tech priest over here having trouble with these chimera because they won't work. Obviously that's part of the storyline which will get fleshed out. They're trying to mine these crystals here. There's all these crystals around the place. This one's looking a little bit drained over here because they're draining it of power to try and power these things, because there's no real energy in this world apart from demonic energy, but we'll sort of cover that as the season progresses. Moving across this side of the board, we've got some Chaos Spawn. We've got a Demon Prince there, and look, basically got a couple of followers next to him. And we've got a Space Marine type character, or a Chaos character in Space Marine armour. I haven't actually worked out a storyline for him yet, but that'll evolve as I move through it. We've got some cultists, which are basically beastmen variants and different things in there. You would have had a good look at these last week with the actual battle, and we've got a couple of stray units off to the side there. So the idea in this battle, there's not really a lot of heavy weaponry. On the Imperial Guard side we've got, you know, various units, and there is some heavy firepower, like over here. There's certainly some firepower there. So the idea is these guys are defending their mining operation, and the Chaos are basically trying to disrupt that. Alright, so that's what we're looking at. That's the deployment phase for first battle of Season 6. We'll see what happens next. Okay, here we are at the first half of Turn 1 in Season 6. So, I've tried a few different techniques in this turn, just regarding the filming of it, with not a great amount of success at the moment, but I'll talk about those as we go. Chaos have had the first turn, and we've basically just had a lot of foot slogging troops advance across the board. No firing, no shooting at the moment, so we've just had these guys move up from the edge of the table here. We've also had the main characters, you know, the Demon Prince, the Spawn, and this Terminator type character just there, basically just meander their way through these rock structures here, trying to get into close combat. It's going to take them a while to get across the board, but you know, maybe the zombies, well, surprisingly the zombies are going to get there first, but that's what's going to happen. We've got a mass of zombies trying to hide behind these two crystals here. Don't know how much success they're going to have. You're going to have to bear in mind that on the other side of the board here, these chimeras, they're not actually in play. They're just sitting there being repaired or trying to be refueled by the tech priest there. But so, you know, they're not going to be able to carve up these zombies as much. So that's really what we've got at this stage. No doubt these guys here are going to come in through these crystals here and try and do the same thing across this side of the board. There's a lot of las rifles, las guns over here, but there's the odd missile launcher and flamer with these guys. Like, there's a heavy weapon battery just there, and there's a few heavy weapons through there. So maybe they can carve up some of these Chaos forces advancing. Now what I tried to do here as I was filming is I tried to move the camera down onto the board and basically take stop motion, or just take stills moving across the board looking like these guys are walking, so hopefully that came off alright. I also lost a lot of time in the previous season by moving the camera around the board, like when I do this. Essentially I wasn't taking a video, I was just taking a series of photos, but that took ages, so I put it on continuous shooting and just basically dragged it across. When I did it here, I got a lot of blurring, but as I got to this side of the board I did it again. I worked out the settings, but it should be better next time, so bear with me. Like last week it would have looked pretty ordinary on the actual footage, but it hopefully will get better. Anyway, that is the first half of Turn 1, Season 6. Stay tuned for the second half. Here we are at the end of Turn 1, and the Astra Militarum have not really done a lot. They've taken out one casualty. That guy just there. I'll explain it as we go around the table. So, we don't have any armour. It's all being repaired. We'll talk about that in a minute. Over this side we had this unit just advance up here. Couldn't really get a clear shot. Really wanted to take this high ground advantage and fire down heavy weapons on the advancing Chaos band as it comes along. These two units here are really stuffed behind this rock outcrop here and really are going down through this canyon, I suppose you could call it. Come out there and hopefully take a position just near some of these crystals and pepper these guys with las fire. That's the plan anyway. Try to stay maybe away from the larger, stronger creatures over there. The mortar crew here fired and took out one casualty, which is now up there, and this crew here was just behind there. They couldn't really fit down that canyon there, so they popped up here behind this tower here and are trying to take a position there. Switching around the board, moving at this side, we had this unit here was just behind this Chimera here. Captain, I can't remember his name, is it Harker, is it? Someone will pick me up on that. He was there by himself, or he was with the Jacaro just there, and he came across here and are taking position right on this ledge here, ready to rain fire on all that as it advances. So we had another unit of guardsmen just move up. They couldn't really get a clear shot either, so they'll take a position up here and just dig in and see if they can shoot the horde to pieces as it advances. Now the Jacaro here, again, this is a character in this season. It's sitting behind the tech priest there, trying to repair or restart these chimeras using the power from these crystals. Depleted crystal, non-depleted crystals, that's what they're doing. So we'll see how they progress, but we're going to have Chaos moving across the board or shambling across the board. We'll see if they can close the distance before they get shot to pieces. Turn 2 coming up next. Here we are at the end of the first half of Turn 2, and the Chaos hordes have advanced across the board. Again, not too much in the way of casualties, we've only got the one, but the armies are getting a lot closer and we'll have a lot of bloodshed shortly. The zombies have marched from about here to here, and they're all just sitting there ready to charge into the Astra Militarum defences. They're still a little bit far away. I guess these units here will sort of sit around this area here and make them come up this ramp here and hopefully thin them out a fair bit. Most of this is las fire, so those zombies should be able to withstand a fair bit of oncoming fire. Anyway, over this side we saw the Chaos spawn move up through these rocks here and just take a position in the centre of the board, just there. So they will look to either go and reinforce those zombies or move up where the bulk of the Astra Militarum force is up here. We had the Demon Prince come through and take a position behind the Chaos Spawn, and also the Terminator leader there, ready to take control of the centre of the board. So over this side we had both units of Chaos sort of beastmen, and basically cultists they are, but they're zombies with guns essentially. And we had a missile launcher fire from here and take out one guy just there. So they're just kind of, the HQ unit there really is just sitting at the back waiting to see what happens on the board. So at this stage there's no casualties. You'd expect to see a fair bit of fire from the Astra Militarum side to take out the Chaos hordes advancing, but as soon as these heavier units get involved in the middle, the game will be on. So that's the end of first half of turn 2. We'll wait and see what happens next. Right, second half of turn 2, and the Astra Militarum have dug in these sections along here, these raised sections. So we've basically had a small arms fire from these units into the advancing hordes here. We lost a few models here. What do we lose out of that? 4, 5, and the rest of those zombies came from the other side of the board. So these guys got to fire and took out a few of those guys. These ones came from down here, scaled that bank, and are just sitting here ready to open fire. This group here, hiding behind this ridge, have taken out one unit from that squad there. Squad, mob, whatever you want to call it. So that was those guys. This mortar back here just keeps pumping away, firing and taking out models, so that's doing alright. These guys here came from around that rock outcrop there and are just sitting here ready to come into this side of the board. Over here, these two groups here just fired into the zombies. We've got 1, 2, what's that? 7 zombie casualties, but there's plenty left. So that was taken out by that one, and that one. But now they're kind of in position, and as these guys advance, they'll be able to take out more casualties, theoretically. So there's still quite a few left. The zombies are going to have to make a decision as to which way they go. Will they go after those guys over there, or come up this ramp? And also these guys in the middle are going to come into play, because it looks like the Astra Militarum are in pretty good positions, but they're going to try to find it difficult to take out the Chaos Spawn and the Demon Prince and the Terminator there. So hopefully they can cut swathes out of that before these guys get involved. So we'll see. Chaos coming home late. Can the Astra Militarum hold out? We'll wait to find out in turn 3, coming up shortly. Here we are at the end of the first half of turn 3, and Chaos have finally made it about to the midway point of the board. We've seen this mob of Chaos cultists just take position behind this crystal here and fired and took out one of the Astra Militarum just sitting up there. Likewise, we had these beastmen and converted cultists do the same thing over here. Pretty much these guys held up pretty well. Over here we've got 4 guardsmen casualties. The big problem for the Astra Militarum is these guys here, the Demon Prince and even the Spawn over the back there, really in critical positions now. They need to start taking some casualties, because if they get into hand-to-hand, into the fight phase, well, it's all over. Anyway, there was no missile launchers fired. They just basically ran up behind this crystal here and took a defensive position. And over here, this side, we had the zombies move from behind these crystals up here and go for this ramp. They're basically leaving these guardsmen to the spawn there. We'll see what happens there. They'll get fired upon probably by 2 units. But over here, these 2 units here have to pepper these zombies and try and thin them out. There's quite a few there, but they better do it quick, otherwise it's chow time for the zombies. Anyway, that's the end of the first half of turn 3. We'll see what happens next. Second half of turn 3. We have the Astra Militarum dug in now as the Chaos forces advance. There's been quite a lot of casualties over here on the Chaos side. Let's start on this side of the table. We had this unit of Astra Militarum fire in and take out a couple of advancing Chaos cultists. They're sort of within range now, and the cultists should be able to start taking some casualties there. These 2 units here fired into what was the largest unit of Beastmen Chaos cultists, and there's only a few remaining now, so that's done pretty well there. The mortar crew here fired and took out another model just there, and probably the big threat from to the Astra Militarum is these Chaos spawn over here. We had combined firepower from 2 units, 1, 2, trying to take out these 3 spawn. Only managed to take out 1, and those spawn are looking to cause some damage there in the next turn. Over this side, this was very disappointing for the Astra Militarum. We had all this firepower up here. I mean, there's rocket launchers, missile launchers, there's flamers, there's all sorts of special weapons there, and really the bulk of the zombies still kind of sit there. They only took out 7, so that's a bit of a poor effort, and no doubt the zombies will pile in and start causing some casualties there. So this side of the board, not looking so good for the Astra Militarum. I should say at this stage that these 2 units here are really not part of the battle. This, you know, the Don's a character moving forward, so he's here just for the background story. So he's not going to get involved at this stage. Anyway, that's where we sit at the end of turn 3. We've got turn 4 coming up shortly. Here we are at the end of the first half of turn 4, and all the models now are on one half of the board. Obviously the Astra Militarum are digging in and not advancing, they're just fending off the Chaos Horde. So what we've got over here is this unit here charged into this unit of Astra Militarum and took out a few casualties, 3 on that side, 2 on this side. It's fairly evenly weighted at this stage. The Beastmen and the accompanying Champion in Terminator armour charged in and took out quite a few of this unit right here, and that battle is ongoing. These guys here, or behind this crystal here, they just moved around and just took a position right here, fired in to this, took out 1 guy, but they're sitting behind that ridge there in a form of cover. And probably the saving thing for the Astra Militarum is the Demon Prince just fell short of getting in amongst that, which would have caused a lot of mayhem. Over this side, wasn't so lucky for this unit of guardsmen who got charged by 2 Chaos Spawn. There was a unit there who just got vaporised by the rampaging Chaos Spawn. And the zombies finally shambled their way up this little ridge here and came up and took all bar 3 of those Astra Militarum. So they're holding their ground against the tide of zombies, but there's still a lot of zombies there. And there's still the HQ unit for the Astra Militarum. I've got no idea what these guys are going to do. Turn, charge, get stuck into it, run for the hills. I'd run for the hills. Look at all those zombies. Anyway, who knows. So that's the end of the first half of turn 4. We'll see what the Astra Militarum do in response. Here we are at the end of turn 4, and what looked like an easy walk in the park for Chaos has hit a stumbling block. We had 3 guardsmen that were in combat with that. Just basically choose the wise decision to move away, which opened the door for these guys to fire into here and took out, I think, 7 zombies. So still stacks left, but these guys are still kicking around. So they're alright. These guys are still sitting there, haven't moved. They'll move around as part of the story continues. The combined firepower of those guardsmen there took out 1 spawn, chaos spawn, leaving 1 remaining. Moving over this side of the board, we saw this combat basically just continue on. We've got 2 guardsmen and 2 chaos cultists still slugging it out. These 4 here were in combat there and just chose not to go against that scythe there. Looks a bit nasty, so they disappeared. But back here is where it all happened. This group here with melters, plasma weaponry, the whole lot sitting behind that cover, fired into what was the Demon Prince. Demon Prince got taken out and also had firepower from the mortar. He took a mortar to the face and he got taken out. So the Astra Militarum sort of hold this area for now, but we've got some melee units there that will probably assault that next turn and see what happens. So this side of the board still contested. That side of the board, probably those zombies are going to prove to be too much, I'd imagine, for the Astra Militarum, but we'll wait and see. Turn 5 coming up shortly. Here we are at the end of the first half of turn 5, and the Chaos forces have breached the Astra Militarum lines. We've seen this group of zombies, which is slowly diminishing, but it's still fairly formidable. Took out 3 Astra Militarum who are basically fleeing there. They're going to be exposed to some concentrated fire from this unit here, but still there's quite a lot to take out. Over this side we had a melee between 2 Astra Militarum and these 2 Chaos units, and the Chaos units 1 controlling that area. Up here a group of fleeing Astra Militarum were taken down by this unit of Chaos cultists. Here we saw the Terminator with his retinue come in and charge that fortified position for the Astra Militarum, took out a few, but that's contested. And the Chaos spawn over here, charged from over there, didn't quite make it, fell a little bit short, so looking fairly exposed over there. But either way, we've got Chaos controlling key areas of the table. Astra Militarum are going to have to pull out something pretty big to win this battle. Anyway, that's the end of the first half of turn 5. We'll see what happens next. Second half of turn 5, and the Astra Militarum have done a pretty good job to fend off the Chaos forces advancing. So what we had here is we had these 4 Astra Militarum in combat with the Terminator and a couple of companions, and they withdrew, allowing this unit here to open fire on the Terminator and also the mortar crew, who seems to be popping people off all over the place. Took them out, so that really cleaned up that area. It did probably expose this unit here to the Chaos spawn, because that's could cause a fair bit of damage in there. And also there's still a couple of units of Chaos here and here, which could cause some problems as well, but at least for now they get to take out some of the major threats. Over this side is a different story for the Astra Militarum. We had our hero Jacaro sort of retreat from the tech priest there and make his escape, mainly because this horde of zombies is thinning out too slowly. We had this unit here basically open fire here and take out a chunk of zombies, but still lots of zombies, not so many guardsmen. Overall, could be a pretty damaging turn for Chaos next turn. They should do a fair bit of damage and clean up the Astra Militarum, but if they can hold out just a little bit longer, who knows? We'll find out in turn 6 coming up shortly. Okay, here we are at the end of the first half of turn 6, and there's not too much left on the table now. We had these two Chaos units fire into the retreating Astra Militarum here, who were then assaulted by these two Chaos models, and that is just sitting there waiting to resolve itself. We had the Chaos spawn charge into this group of Astra Militarum, and it didn't really clean them up. It took out 3, but it still is ongoing just there. Moving over to this side, as expected, the zombies assaulted what was a group of Astra Militarum there, cleaned them up real quick and turned around to face whoever's next. Now we had the Jacaro as part of the storyline that was sitting there. He retreated out through the back there, and that will continue that storyline. And we have the tech priest sitting there, not that he's really involved in this battle, but he's there nonetheless. Anyway, that's what we've got at the end of the first half of turn 6. We'll have the final part coming up shortly. Well, subscribers, that's the end of the first battle of Season 6. Hope you enjoyed the battle. At this stage the Chaos forces were just too much for the defending Astra Militarum. I'm going to just have a quick look at the board as it finished. Just a quick note on future battles. I'm going to be doing these larger form battles every few weeks, but I've got these smaller storyline segments. It's a bit hard to explain, but you'll see those in the intermittent weeks between the larger battles. Anyway, quick look at the final board. Let's have a look. We had the zombies take control here. The Jacaro ran out through the back door there. There was a Chimera just there. The tech priest jumped in that, repaired it just at the right time to make a quick escape, just with himself in the tank. Over this side of the board is probably where most of the action was for this final part. We had these couple of Astra Militarum. They just basically retreated there, allowing the mortar to try and have one last crack at these guys here, to no effect. These guys managed to down the last Chaos spawn, but that's probably too little too late. We've got too much Chaos on the board and they won the day. There you have it. That is Season 6 Battle 1 Astra Militarum versus Chaos. Stay tuned for more stop motion battle reports. Thanks for watching.